Good morning, it's 9:10. We appreciate you watching Minnesota Live. There is a Minnesota mom who just launched a publishing group to celebrate diversity and hidden stories. She's starting with her children's book that can play music, and it also includes Braille.
The stories are about Black composers, and Crystal Elstein is here to share a little bit more about Beret Publishing. Crystal, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much, you guys.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. We were kind of talking in commercial about how you kind of got into publishing books.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I have a finance background. I've been incredibly fortunate in my career to be in rooms with some of the top executives in the world. I mean, dozens upon dozens of Fortune 500 companies. And even as I say that, I'm incredibly blessed for the opportunity I've done so. And what I do is I get to consult them on their businesses. So what actually happened is, during COVID, I started, my husband and I started to have children, and our oldest. And, you're going through all of the things that you wish you'd had, like as a child, and had all the information. So you give them all the books, Beethoven, Chopin, Vivaldi, Mozart, all those individuals. And you look around and you're like, well, there's no one here that looks like me, and I'm in an interracial, marriage and relationship, and my kids are biracial. So this is what kind of pulled the thread, and really inspiration is coming from my children themselves.
So then did you at that point start researching, and where did you start with, like, I'm going to start researching and find out who some of these composers are, or did you already know that? Were you?
I didn't, and what a shame. I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that, right? But it did take quite a bit of research, and what actually happened is with this calling, because that's truly what it was, it's like, I have to do research, and you find like all this disparate information in the corners of the internet. And so it really came to me just pretty much anchored, like I have to be a succinct voice, a clear voice that amplifies voices of like the greatest composers in the world that you will often find besides these juggernauts that I just described.
I think about being a parent, and everyone tells you you learn so much you didn't know, like being that parent. So here you are learning, and you're taking that and you're putting it forward. Tell us about some of the books that you have here this morning, and how they're unique to Beret Publishing and what you're doing there.
This is our inaugural collection. It is made up of 5 composers, all spanning between the 15th and the 19th centuries, okay? And so every collection is going to be in cohort form. This is the first one. Okay, so we have George Bridgetower, Chevalier, whose name before he became Chevalier was Joseph Boulogne. We have Winifred Atwell. She was huge in the UK, like names truly that we should know. Vicente Lusitano, he was the first Black composer ever recorded in history. And the music that is sitting in this book does not exist today, like to be played anywhere. So this is truly tectonic, groundbreaking work that's happening.
And the books have a component to them, since they are music books.
Yeah.
But where there's an audio component to
yes,
it. In fact, it looks like it's a speaker right on the back of it.
Yeah, there's a speaker right on the back, a couple of settings if it gets a little too loud. All of them have music, all of them have Braille, and truly it's layered, because what you'll also find are themes within each of the books, okay? You'll always find a parent or parents, and it's to historical significance, where you don't see a lot of Black and brown children with that kind of parental oversight, right? You'll always see the children studying, because what does it take to become a prodigy? It's not just something you're born with and then you show up on stage at Carnegie Hall and begin to play, right?
Takes the encouragement from parents and to sort of lead them there. Is that what?
Exactly.
The imagery in these books.
Yeah, that's really neat.
It is stunning.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, it's my interpretation of what life would have been like for them at that time. And so it's all come to life. You'll see it burnt on the edges as the actual sheet music of the individuals. Now, I will say that you can't always find a ton of music for these composers, because you have the Napoleons of the world at the time who would actually burn their life's work in front of them truly and say, no one will ever know what you contributed to society just because of what you looked like or who you are, right?
How did they play the music?
Well, they all have
at some point you get to the right page and it just plays a song there?
Yeah, so there's buttons in there, so you could go ahead and give it a try.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, so there's buttons in there, you could press it. If you run your fingers along the pages, there's also Braille. So it's grade 2 level Braille.
Oh my gosh. We said that in the intro, but I couldn't figure out where the Braille was.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but you're right. Feeling it is absolutely there.
Yes.
Was it terrifying for you to leave your career? To leave what you knew and embark on something that didn't exist?
You know what, Megan? This is a calling at this point, and truly this work is bigger than me. So I'm a channel. I am truly a conduit. So I'm not afraid of that. And you know, the blessings and the opportunities that I've had up until this point, I've lived so many lives over and over. You know, my late grandmother, she died shortly after 9/11. She was an immigrant from a small island in the West Indies, and she had a 3rd grade education. So she gave everything that she could growing up in Queens for me and my brother to do our best, you know, to go out in the world and become the best versions of ourselves. I feel like I honored her in that sense, and now that I'm a parent myself, turning around and seeing how can I do more, right? So that's where it is.
How did you get the name for the publishing group Beret?
Beret! It actually goes back to the 90s in Queens. So growing up in a very kind of just humble space, I don't know if you guys did this where you grew up, but you know when you're a child and you're seeing cars that you like, and you're like, that's my car, that's my car.
Yep.
Neon was mine.
Yeah.
And you see magazines with fabulous people and all the things, and I just remember, like, you walk through, you know, the neighborhood and you'll see stands, and you're walking by and you'll see people in berets or, you know, certain kind of like things that they're wearing, and you're like, you know, that's gonna be me one day. Like, I'm gonna make it. So you keep that imagery in your mind, and then I promise you, when I say calling, I truly mean calling, because it all just came together.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Next time I'll expect you to be wearing the beret.
I know, I missed an opportunity to do that.
Thank you very much.
So thank you.
Thank you.
We'll post a link for you to purchase the books on MinnesotaLive.com. Be right back.
New consumer